Well, how's it going, everybody? Let's see. I don't think I've ever done this before. This is cool. Not on a desktop on YouTube here. Um, yeah, the shirt's coming in backwards. That is unfortunate. I don't know how to fix that. Yeah. Anyway, those of you that are maybe dyslexic, no vax mandate. There you go. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Jasmine, what's up? Yeah, we're here to talk about vaccine mandates. It's kind of the main topic on everybody's mind. It's been quite a crazy week for me. Thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate it. So you kind of heard. I was just going to pop on here just because some of you may have heard about what's going on if you're following us on social media. But I kind of felt inclined to come on here and speak on it. Um, it's kind of crazy because just as the world works, I was already in talks with some previous guests, some other people, other doctors, lawyers, people in the medical freedom community about this other project that I was kind of wanting to get started. And it involved my work. So thanks, Jasmine. I appreciate it. But that's kind of been put on hold for the time being, obviously, because I'm not working there anymore. But in doing that, I kind of reached out back to all of them and kind of let them know that. And Ryan and Christian, Last American Vagabond, reached back out to me and said, hey, man, I appreciate, we kind of talked about it. He's like, I appreciate what you're doing. And why don't you come on my show and tell your story? So I'm actually going to be going on Last American Vagabond on Monday to talk about this whole situation, what went down. But, I kind of felt obligated to come chat with you guys for a little bit. Megan and Ed are doing good. They're still around. They just said, yeah, Scott, just hop on there and just do this. So they're around. They're doing good. They've been super supportive and helpful throughout all this. And much love to you guys. So, and yes, everything does happen for a reason. I feel like this is kind of unlocking doors. I was like, I'm going to take a week off of work. I already have another job lined up. I was just like, it's not even a big deal. But it's like, I kind of want to take a week off and kind of gather myself and kind of see what guides me. I feel like already doors are unlocking. Already big, powerful things are happening, bigger than me. It's kind of cool to see. One of the things that I did is I did set up I don't know. I asked people's advice. I'm like, do I do a crowdfunding thing to try and get some support through this to try to keep me from having to go back to work right away? And they're like, yeah, dude, go ahead. So okay, so I'll plug it. It's GiveSendGo. They've been allies of the movement. GiveSendGo.com/NoVaxx with 2 X's, NoVaxx. So anyway, yeah, that's been going. I really appreciate everybody that's kind of been helping me out through that. So the idea being is that maybe I can just focus on Truezilla for a little bit. There's so many things I want to do to innovate this project and take it to the next level, and that's what we're doing. But anyway, I'll tell you the story about what happened. It's a crazy ass story. So I work. Many of you, who've been listening to the show know me. I work as a drug and alcohol counselor, or that's kind of my career path, right? Being a drug and alcohol counselor, working in behavioral health, and we live here in Oregon. And so Oregon is a little bit crazier than most places. I know there are some places that are equally crazy, but Oregon is really, it's almost like the governor and the health authority, they kind of pride themselves on how crazy they can get, how crazy they can take this whole agenda. And we see it, whether it's riots in the streets of Portland, just literally Antifa and some other, patriot group just squaring off every weekend, very blatant shit. It's just crazy. It's escalating every weekend too. How long is that going to be allowed to go on? It's just it's like they're deliberately trying to ruin this place. It's insane. And it all started a couple weeks ago. It was this, and in fact, I have a video of me actually doing this first part of it. But anyway, word came down from the governor's office that they were going to be requiring COVID-19 shots, quote unquote shots, vaccine, quote unquote vaccines, shots for all healthcare workers and K through 12 education. So if you're a teacher, if you're a nurse, if you work in a hospital setting, you will be required to take the vaccine. And at the time, the condition was, or you submit weekly COVID testing, right? So, one of the things that I chose to do early on, at the advice of James Corbett had a really good video where he was early on in the whole pandemic thing, or plandemic thing, he was saying, make a list of your lines. Write down what your lines are and what you're not willing to have them cross. And then what your plan is for when they do cross them. So there were certain things on mine, I obviously am not going to take the shot. I don't care. That's the hill that I will die on, literally. The test. I still have not taken one of the brain tickler tests. That's something I'm not really willing to do at this point. I mean, if it was life and death, I might But at this point, that was going to be one of my conditions. Like if the work required brain tickler tests, then I was not going. I was going to force them to fire me, right? And that's the other thing too. In this whole fight, you guys, like the whole point is like force them to fire you, force your employer to fire you. Don't quit. And I don't know what that looks like. I'll tell you my story, but it's it's pretty crazy. So let's see. Let me just make sure. Can you guys hear me? I think, like I said, this is my first time using YouTube on the desktop to live stream. So hopefully everything's coming through okay. I'm showing like kind of low volume bars on the bottom there, but I think it's coming through the mic here. But anyway, whatever, guys. So the mandate came down where it was mandatory vaccine for healthcare settings, or you take weekly testing. And so my work, they brought in these little antigen tests. You just twirl it on the inside of your nostril, and you put it in a little thing, and you close the lid, and like give it 15 minutes, and it'll tell you whether you have COVID or not, supposedly, right? Oh boy. I'm not obviously convinced that there's any truth or science behind any of that, but anyway, so there you go. So that's the protocol. And I was like, okay, so it's not a brain tickler, so I can put up with this, right? Now, also in that email, because it's funny, because while the rest of the world is moving away from masks and realizing the insanity of masks and the detriment of masks, Oregon's moving back towards masks. And so the agency that I work for, and I don't know if I should name the name of the agency quite yet, even though I'm separated from them. I'm still deliberating on that, and I kind of plan to on the Last American Vagabond. I'm probably just going to blow the whistle fully. They're doing some shady shit over there, and they deserve to be held accountable. And whether or not they feel like they're doing the right thing and in alignment with the government orders, they're doing some shady shit. And, I saw it firsthand. And I have nothing to hide, nothing to lose. Nothing to hide, nothing to lose, bro. It's a dangerous place to be in. And obviously I'm not like I'm not a retaliatory person. I'm not going to do anything stupid. But absolutely, I'm all about the truth, baby. So let's just bring the truth out. Anyway, so they required antigen daily. So first of all, we'll talk about the masks. So the mask was kind of like the piece that kind of just really rubbed me the wrong way. So while the rest of the world is moving away from masks, they doubled down and reinstated their mask policy where now masks need to be worn in all areas of the office. Doesn't matter, blah, 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 whether you've been vaccinated or unvaccinated, everybody needs to wear their masks. And so, and then they said that, and in the same email, right? And so right then I was like, wow, so, my job is like probably coming to an end. So I saw it writing on the wall. So I decided to push back a little bit. So from my Proton Mail account, well, let me say this. So the agency they use Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, and they have this functionality where there's like a group where you can like groups. So in a specific group, there'll be several people's email addresses, and they have this one group in Outlook called Agency All. So if you send an email to Agency All, it'll send the email to everybody in the agency, right? So I used my Proton Mail account, and I just typed in Agency All at blah, 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 the address of the company. And in the email, I said, so you're making us wear masks because the shots don't work, but you're still making us take the shots. Got it. Something simple, just kind of sarcastic, just kind of dig, and I hit boom, Agency All. Well, the agency lost their fucking minds. They lost their fucking minds. And since it was somewhat of an anonymous account, they thought like the whole company had been hacked and it was like this huge investigation and blah, blah, blah. Now, I have to admit that I kind of slipped. I slipped a little bit because I sent it from my Proton Mail that I didn't think was necessarily traceable back to me. And then after I sent the email, I did a Google search and I found that, I had back in the day, like maybe 6 months ago, I put in a comment on one of our YouTube videos. Somebody was saying something about something, and I was like, okay, yeah, email me. And I gave him my Proton Mail account. So if you do a Google search for that email account, in quotes, it takes you right to TrueZilla. So the cat was out of the bag. And up until this point, I'd done a really, really good job of keeping TrueZilla off the radar. Like nobody at my work knew about TrueZilla except people that I trusted, allies at work, which there were some. I got to give some credit to the allies at work, and I just pray for them because I know they're going through hell right now too. So I sent this agency-wide email, and after the fact, okay, so they're gonna be able to trace it back to me. And sure enough, I know that they were able to trace it back to me because the technology people, the IT people, like send an agency all email from my personal work email as like a test, and they're like, oh, whoops, sorry, we didn't mean to do that. And I don't think they meant to do it, but they did it, and it kind of let the whole agency know that they're like, I was involved in this investigation, sort of thing, if that makes sense. I don't know, but anyway, so I knew the heat was on. And I knew they knew about TrueZilla. So that's hilarious. I'm like, if you all are listening now, you know who you are. I hope you're enjoying the show because it's gonna get good. All right. So anyway. So that was kind of the first straw. So I knew that kind of the pressure was on, and I knew that things were going to be a little crazy. And so I was minding my P's and Q's because I knew that they were looking at me. I knew that they were looking at my browsing history. I wasn't going to like InfoWars on my lunch break and sitting there listening to Alex Jones on my lunch break, nothing like that. I knew things were getting a little hot and heavy. So I was just like, I was being good. I was being a good little boy. And then the email came out that said, under the new issuance from the governor saying that, okay, now we've taken it up a notch. So now it's no longer mandatory vaccines with optional testing. Now it's mandatory vaccines and there is no option for testing. You do not have the option to test. You will take the vaccine or you will not have a job, period. And that's what it is right now in Oregon, guys. Right now in Oregon today, as I sit here, that is the order. That if you work in the healthcare field or the education field, if you're a teacher, you will take the vaccine or you will not have a job. And the deadline I heard for healthcare is September 30th, and the deadline for educators is October 18th. So there's now this deadline that everybody's basically under the gun. And so, I'm involved in a lot of medical freedom groups, and everybody's just trying to figure it out. Everyone's trying to navigate the world of religious exemptions. Everyone's trying to scramble and figure out what that looks like, what a qualifying medical exemption looks like, what a moral exemption looks like, and everybody's agency is probably going to have different interpretations of whatever the governor and the law is as far as what's going to be acceptable or not, And really right now it's mostly, it's deadlines in October. You can tell it's just such fraud. It's such fraud and it's such criminal fraud because, the order in Oregon was, like the way that Kate Brown worded it is that, you will have, you will have this cutout date, October 18th or 6 weeks after the vaccine gets FDA approved, whichever is later. So they knew when they were writing that the FDA approval was coming. So I was saying, like, my prediction was September 6th was going to be the day that they get FDA approval, because if you go 6 weeks back from October 18th, which was the cutoff date, that would have given you, the date. So I was off by like a couple weeks, but wow, they're just fast tracking it, man. And I can go into a whole thing about the FDA approval thing and how sketchy that is. But I feel like, if you want to go check out Last American Vagabond, go check out Ryan Christian's coverage of it this last like week. Like, it's just impeccable, perfect. Like, you'll get all the information you need to know and how to, discuss it in a cogent manner, just by checking out his page. So anyway, so then they came out with the proclamation that now you do not have the alternative for testing and you will take the vaccine. And so the agency I work for, they fell right in line with that. Sent out an email saying, you will, and this is before the FDA approval. So this would have been the week before last. This would have been like the week of, like, I don't know, whatever the hell, the week before last. Last Monday being when the FDA approval. So it was the week before that. So they were saying, like, yep, you will get tested. And then, they did say that there was a clause in there about religious exemptions. They did mention the word religious exemptions. And so, which is what, the Oregon governor did say something about religious exemptions. So agencies just basically fall in line with whatever the governor is saying. So, we're saying, okay, so maybe there's hope. Maybe we do have the opportunity to do some religious exemptions or medical exemptions or something. And that's really, I think, at this point, people's only strategy, and like, for me, at first I'm like, oh, hell no. That's why I don't want to do the fake passport. I could go, dude, I have the PDF of the stupid fucking little index card. I could write the COVID vaccine thing on there. I could forge it easily. But I'm not playing their game. I'm not capitulating. I'm not allowing this system to progress through me. I'm not going to be a vessel for this system to progress. And so I'm staying very firm in that. And what's up, Jorge? Argentina, man. Oh, crazy. Rules are optional. That's cool. Hey, dude, you got an extra room I could post up in Argentina? anyway, so yeah, so I'm not playing the game. I'm not capitulating. And Australia want to be banned from public transport and supermarkets. Yeah, totally. That's what's coming here too. 100%. That's why we have to take a stand. We have to take a stand here in Oregon. Those of us that are in the medical freedom movement, like we're just like, this is the fight. This is the front lines. This is where it's all going down. So, it's super important that we hold our ground here. So anyway, where was I? All right. So yeah, so the agency said that you will take the vaccine, but there was a mention about religious exemption. So if you go to ICAN, Informed Consent Action Network, that's Del Bigtree's nonprofit. They do a lot of good work. They do a lot of like lawsuits in courts, and they're just like vital in this fight. There's this document on there. What's up, Colleen? What's up, Aaron? You guys awesome. Anyway, so they do this. There's this form on there, and you can probably find it elsewhere, but it's this PDF form. You can tell it's drafted by a super sharp, on point law firm, and it was to Cornell University. It's addressed to Cornell University about their mandatory vaccine policy, and it basically breaks down the whole argument in like the best way I've seen it so far. And it's really attacking the emergency use authorization status, but not only that, it goes into so many other different things that are just like so on point in explaining why it is absolutely illegal on its face, 100% illegal, based on federal law, international law. Here in Oregon, actually, there is a state law. In fact, it's the only state in Oregon there is a law that says you cannot mandate vaccines for healthcare workers, and it's just right there. But they don't care. So state law, federal law, international law, Nuremberg Code, civil rights, and human rights. And the Cornell letter breaks it down so perfectly. And they summarize all of the reasons why mandating vaccines is illegal. So what I did is I took that letter and I took all the Cornell University out, and then I put in, my agency, basically, and I had it all typed up, ready to go. And I was like, oh man, I was itching to send it out. And I didn't quite send it out though, because then that email came out about all the religious exemptions and stuff. And like some people, yeah. I could totally, if you type in, man, let me see. I don't know. Yes, I'll put it in here, get it somehow to you guys. But anyway, so let's see. So I kind of backtracked. Okay, so I was going on the serious offensive. Like I already got a taste for sending out agency-wide emails and just being the one that everybody hates. I love it. I love it. The way I see it, it's like fighting tyranny is like working out a muscle. You know what I mean? Like if you're not used to it, it's kind of scary at first. But the more you get out there and you get like in it, you start bullhorning shit and you start like getting in people's faces and wearing shirts around the store that say Fauci gave us all AIDS, you know what I mean? And people give you those horrible looks and people start yelling at you and wishing you death in the supermarket. That's invigorating. I live for that. I love it. So the fact that this entire agency now hates me, dude, I love it. I love it. If you're listening right now, your hate feels so good. Oh, the only thing that bums me out about not being able to work there anymore is that I can't feel your hateful little stares anymore. Oh man, I'm going to miss that. So there you go. So, so what I did is I decided to backtrack and take a more diplomatic approach, So I sent out an email, and the email said, and this was, I got to back it up. This is even better. Okay. So they, after sending out that agency-wide email from my Proton Mail account and everybody lost their shit, they actually changed the protocol. They went in and they reconfigured the entire IT setup for their email to make it so that employees cannot send agency all emails. So they made it so that, I and nobody else could send agency-wide emails because they can't have that type of subversion in their agency. That's insane. So, right? So anyway, I figured out a way around that though. And they didn't like that either. So when the executive director sent out that email saying that, now you will take the vaccine, citizen, in order to have basic human rights, you have to take this shot. I sent out, so all you do, so if everybody's in the same situation, all you do, and I'm telling you how I did it, if you're listening, all you do is you hit reply all, right? And then it populates that agency all email, and then you hit the plus button on it, and then it populates every single person in the agency's email directly. So there you go. So I was able to circumvent the protocol that they put in place to prevent me from sending agency-wide emails, and I sent one anyway. In the email, I said, if you need help or would like some guidance in navigating how to obtain religious, moral, philosophical, or medical exemptions, let me know. I said, we have lots of doctors and lawyers on our side, and you are not alone. I really want to emphasize, you are not alone. So lo and behold, I had a bunch of people reach back out to me. I had several folks who told me that they felt like they were completely alone this whole time and didn't know where to turn. They were super scared. I had some people that I talked to on the phone that were literally crying, saying, "Oh, thank you so much. I didn't know there was anybody in the company that like felt the same way," because really their goal at this agency is just to demoralize you and make you feel like you are subhuman. Like if you don't go along with their little program, if you're not in their cult, then you are not a human and you do not deserve basic human rights. If you're not in their little cult, that's seriously what they try to portray. It's just absolutely sickening. Of course, from a group of people who claim to be the most progressive and loving people you could possibly imagine. That's all bullshit. It's all a facade. It's all a facade. It's sickening how just transparent and awful it is. I had to like swallow my every day. It's just like, oh yeah. I know you hate me, but that's fine. You can just keep on hating me because I like to breathe. It's just what I do, Anyway, so sent that email out, and I was able to connect with some people, man, and it felt so good. Like I said, I'm involved in a lot of medical freedom groups, so several Telegram groups. So I was able to get folks plugged in with some of these local, medical freedom groups. And they were like, oh my God, I had no idea such a thing existed. Like, it was so cool. So not only that, but there's also a really good resource at americasfrontlinedoctors.com/religious. And they kind of give you a real good tutorial, really good breakdown about, what a religious exemption is, like what that looks like, kind of how to best articulate yours. Because from my understanding, it's mostly like, there's not like a sheet that you fill out with like questions, yes, no questions. Like it's more like you just draft up a letter that conveys your beliefs in a way that kind of articulates your view. So, and the law literally says, there's an interpretation in such that like you don't have to have like a religious belief, like even like moral philosophical beliefs fall under the religious category. So you don't have to like join a church. You don't necessarily have to like, get baptized. Is the way I say it. You don't have to like sign yourself over, make any pledges or anything like that. You just have to like have a firmly held philosophical belief. So anyway, I started getting folks going on that. Oh, the other one too, I want to point out, it's a newer website. It's called employeesforinformedconsent.com. And it's started by Bob Snee. You've seen him on one of our episodes. He's an attorney here in Oregon, Oregonians for Medical Freedom. And you know what I mean? And so like, oh yeah, what's up, Will? Anyway, so I sent out that information too. And really got some folks plugged in. That was the best thing about it, was the fact that, there were some folks that really felt alone, really scared, very tearful, that now no longer feel that way. So, I was super stoked about that, So anyway, and then, so, whatever, and I knew that like I was under the spotlight. So I'm just like, whatever, dude, like I was doing my thing, I was doing my job. That's the other thing too. Is I was going to do my job to the best of my ability until I knew that the time came that I wasn't going to be able to do that anymore. So I was trying to keep things pretty tight, So I walked in on Wednesday. It was Wednesday morning. And I logged into my computer and it said, this account has been suspended. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. I see what's going on here. So it's kind of funny. So I packed all my things. I knew what time it was. I knew that was it. And that was pretty much it. So I packed all my things and sat there, and then sure enough, and I just sat there and just waited for them to come in and fire me. Sure enough, they came in about, 10 minutes later, and they're like, oh, your stuff's packed. What do you think's going on? I'm like, well, you guys are firing me, right? They're like, okay, yeah. Shut the door. And like, well, we detected a serious infraction to our violation of our technology policy. I'm like, okay, whatever. sure, let's do this. And, they walked me out. So, I felt like it was a very chicken shit way to take me out. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's pretty much the story, guys. I feel like I was retaliated against. I feel like I was targeted. I feel like, what I hear is that, it was, that I potentially downloaded something that wasn't to their liking. And so I just wonder if other employees are being held to the same level of scrutiny. I just wonder if everybody's being looked at for, making sure that everything they do on their computer is 100% above the board and work related. I'm just wondering also if it didn't have something to do with my deeply held philosophical or religious beliefs that made me a target. I don't know. That might be what happened. I don't know. I wonder if other people are being targeted for their religious or philosophical beliefs. I don't know. I feel like that might very well be the case, which could be a big problem. For the record, that could be a big problem. I don't know. But anyway. So yeah, you guys, I just feel it's important to just kind of get the word out that, this is real. This stuff is real. People that are in that cult, they don't care. They don't care, and they don't care. And in fact, they rejoice in your suffering. They enjoy seeing people fail or do well, or if their life gets difficult. I'm lucky that I have a platform. I'm lucky that I have people in my life today that are, super supportive and super, just awesome, and have really been amazing with this. Like I said in the beginning of this, I talked to some folks, and they're like, "Dude, do a crowdfunding thing. See if you can get some income, so you don't have to go right back to work." And so I did, and I thank you everybody that's contributed to that. It's GiveSendGo.com/NoVaxx, NoVaxx. You know what I mean? And then tomorrow, or let's see, not tomorrow, Monday, I'll be sitting down with Ryan Christian, breaking it down, Last American Vagabond. You know what I mean? I don't wish anybody ill will, man. I'm not trying to do harm. I'm not trying to cause harm in the world, but I'm trying to do what's right. I'm trying to seek justice as much as that's even possible. And just speaking about it really helps, because I feel like, these people, it's just disgusting, man. It's gross. It's really gross. And they should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. I firmly believe that, the real losers in this situation are the clients, man, because I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm a damn good counselor, man. And I really care about these folks. And, many of you know that I suffer from, there was a period of my life where I wasn't making the best choices, and I'm in recovery now myself. I work a program of recovery very actively. And, I feel like I had a unique gift to offer clients who are also seeking recovery, and I feel at the end of the day, they're the ones that lose. They really, really, I felt like I was making some really solid connections, really, really, really helping people. And it breaks my heart to know that, that's not there anymore, and I just pray for them, and I pray that they find the help and guidance that they need, because this is the worst possible time to try and start to get clean. If I was just trying to get clean right now, I don't know. I feel like it's just, these poor folks have to go to group, go to treatment, on Zoom. That's what their treatment is. It's on Zoom. And it's really disgusting, it's really disgusting. Also, when I talked about just the nature of how disgusting the agency is, they prioritize vaccinated people. So if you're a person who's seeking to get clean, to get off the streets, they'll make your life living hell. And they probably won't take you if you're not vaccinated. So that's kind of the requirement. So if you want medical care, I know that's a big concern for people in the real world, that, being denied medical care on the basis of your vaccination status, that's coming too. Because it's absolutely 100% happening at this old agency I used to work for, is that they made it almost impossible, probably if not impossible, for you to get a bed in a residential treatment setting if you were not vaccinated. So that's just that. Last I heard that they would put you in a 2-week quarantine room, but that basically means that they don't have any quarantine rooms, and they're not interested in they're not interested in anybody not vaccinated entering their facilities. And it's funny too. So I did have one reply. I did have one reply to that one email that I sent from my Proton Mail account. For my Proton Mail account, one person had the balls from that agency to write me back And it was actually the program director of the men's residential facility. So talk about retaliation. He wrote me back and he said, let me see if I can find it here. Hold on, let me search. Let me see. So yeah, he responded and said, and this is hilarious. I said, spread your conspiracy theories elsewhere. Oh, and Trump lost the election. Oh, okay. So this tells you. So I didn't write back. I mean, I didn't write back. Like, how do I engage with somebody who's like, you think this is like a Trump, not Trump issue? Like, you really, like, that tells me everything about your understanding of this issue, and therefore it doesn't even deserve a response. Like, you're so lost, so far gone. It's not even worth acknowledging. So there you go. So I don't know, retaliation. I don't know. Maybe. So, man. So yeah, it's been a crazy week, but you guys, I love you all so much. I just, at least I got my truth family here. My truth family's here. And yeah, you guys check out Last American Vagabond on Monday. Your boy's going to be on there and be having a good time, man. So anyway, yeah, you guys want to contribute to the GiveSendGo, it's GiveSendGo.com/NoVaxx with 2 X's, just like this, NoVaxx. And until next time, I wish all of you intellectual prosperity. Got a kick-ass episode I'm working on editing right now. It should be out tomorrow. All right, guys. Love you. Peace. Maybe.